So it's March 23rd, 3/23, 2025. 2 years late. But we're here with the Alpha, and I'm basically ready to just turn it on, which is pretty good. Probably try to get a video of maybe like a little road test just around the storage unit area here. I do have it insured, so that's good. Obviously it's registered. Yeah, so we're gonna try to get some things together here, or at least try it. Let me just kind of go over what we have. So obviously, two Nissan Leaf stacks from a 2011 Nissan Leaf. We have a Ant BMS 32S Bluetooth controlled battery management system that we're using basically just for balancing, although the charger, this is a Thunderstruck charger, is hooked up to the BMS, so when the charging happens it balances the cells out. I've done some videos on the app and how that looks. Seems to be working all right, but there's nothing going through the BMS as a load right now. The only thing I may add is a 12-volt, a DC-DC converter for the 12-volt battery that's right there. This pack, the total ground for the pack is down there on the bottom. So it goes up here. In each can, there are 4 cells, 2 in series, but with the BMS, every cell pair is monitored. So this is actually 8 cans, but 16 monitored cells. This is the top of this pack, which goes down and around through a 480 amp fuse, which could split the pack in half, and then goes to the bottom of that pack, up through the top, and then out the top. Obviously, total pack voltage, we have 3 wires going there. One is out to the inverter, one is charger in, and the other is sense for the relay, ignition relay for the inverter. So this actually has high voltage coming in, high voltage coming out, which I've run through the high voltage loom, and also a 12-volt control coming up here to control that relay. So when you key on the ignition, that's going to allow high voltage to flow through a 10 amp fuse inside there that then goes through the high voltage loom. I have a emergency shutoff on the ground side of the pack. Just if I punch it down, so it's in the down position right now, so I can lift it up to turn on the HV. But that is just a emergency shutoff. If for some reason shutting the key off doesn't work, you can just cut high voltage right there. This is a 12-volt deep cycle battery we used to have in our RV when we switched over to lithium. It's got a little trickle charger in here that goes into this pack, this box here, which has the controller for the Thunderstruck controller, and a power splitter, which will take in the AC power to charge. At this time, I do not have the charger AC line connected. That's that connector back there, that gray one. Just because I wanted to trickle charge the 12-volt. I can actually shut that off, so let me do that. Put these away. I'm just doing this until I get a DC-DC converter. But I also have a breaker here, so I can kill power right at the battery here. Runs through this loom, down the side, that white wire up across the dash, and into a junction box that's fused and powered by the key. So when the key is off, it's not going to be powered on at all. Yeah, I don't really remember what I was talking about with the charger, but yeah, eventually we'll run a DC-DC on that, or some sort of solar setup, maybe. The controller, Thunderstruck. Yeah, just some other things back here. This is the contactor. So you have a 12 volt. It is low power, but it's actually coming from the inverter. This is your contactor power that goes through here. The pack out goes through here and then goes through the contactor and then enters the high voltage loom. So when the inverter up front sees that everything is good, it pre-charges with high voltage and then closes the contactor here. So that's that. The high voltage loom runs up, down and around. Getting pinched on the seat, obviously, hilarious. May have to change that design. How about that? A little better. Down this side of the tunnel and then up and through there. The contactor black loom comes up through here, down here. It's following our 12 volt and comes up and around here. I did put a little contactor cut, so if you wanted to just cut contactor power, you could cut that loom. It's kind of like a first responder loop. Also up here, this is where your contactor power comes in. I have it fused here as close to the inverter as possible because that's what's providing power to it. So you could cut the ground side if you had to, or just take the fuse out. Vacuum pump, that's from like I don't know, it was Chrysler or something. It was $30 on Amazon. So that tube kind of runs up and around to the brake booster. I may need another brake booster, just because it seems like the diaphragm may be shot. Not surprised. The clutch here runs down and around down there, and actually I do have now the hose hooked up to the slave cylinder, and that will allow us to have a working clutch when I put some brake fluid in the clutch master cylinder. Hopefully nothing leaks, but that will be nice. And that was a recommendation from Mike Breenan, I think, at EV West. He said, you know, if you can shift gears in an EV, it really adds to the driving experience. So we did that when we made the adapter plate. Like I also said, I've also ground down the adapter plate to clear the tie rod drag link. I did adjust that because it's bent. I had to bend it down a little bit, and it seems like the wheel alignment is relatively straight, just from by eye. You could tell it was definitely off before. This is a connector for the resolver, just kind of motor input, motor temp and stuff. Gray wire comes up into the logic connector of the inverter. Curtis 1238, 132 volt inverter. I think it's 500 amps or something. Also with a cooling plate. I have a super crude setup here. It's really hard to find reducers down to like 1/4 inch tubing. So I'm gonna have to redo this, obviously, but stock radiator in place. And I'm using the stock fuel pump as a water pump. So I think I'm having a little bit of trouble with it because it's kind of limited to 6 psi. So it's having some trouble with the restrictions in these tiny 1/4 inch hoses. So something to fix with more of a higher flow water pump. I think we're going to need it. Yeah, had to redo the 12-volt wiring. Obviously, there's a bunch of videos on that. Took a few weeks, honestly, to get the 12-volt kind of under control. But all the lights work on the car now, and they're also controlled by the stock switch here. I do need to hook up the horn, but we do know that works, so it's ready to be wired in. In terms of the gauges, well, just maybe go over the seats real quick. This seat folds and moves up and back. This one is stuck in its position, but that's okay. Like we said, we've got the stock trans. Before I used to just throw it into 3rd gear, and that was the perfect speed for takeoff and cruise. But yeah, I do have like the door panels. I'll put those on, obviously, and then maybe we could clean up the dash with some cover or something. Here is the panel that I made, and also the stock fuse box for the exterior lights. So that was just the best way to maintain the integrity of the wiring diagram, more or less. So, and also fuse the battery supply, or fuse each section individually. These are my controls here. On the left is the vacuum pump on-off. These guys are the controls for the spyglass, for the Curtis controller, and then that guy over there is going to be our water pump. None of these controls work. Either do these, and the gauges don't work. But yeah, a lot of time here to get this back in working order. I do want to use these panels to at least put one underneath, and then ideally I'd want to enclose the high voltage, or maybe just like build like a wall around it and then put clear plexiglass over top, just to keep fingers out when you're kind of showing people what stuff is. Obviously some cable management that could be done, but right now I'm just kind of roughing things in. Nothing's secured down, so gonna have to do that before I take it out on the road. But we are going to do a key on test here. It's been a long way to get to this point, but it's a beautiful day. It's about 5 o'clock, and it's really tough to have an opportunity to work as much as you can on the weekends, Saturday and Sunday, just with the inevitable stuff going on, and working full-time during the week, and then trying to have a little bit of fun occasionally. So I just hope that we're able to get this thing drivable, that it works better than it did before, and we can park it in front of the house and start taking it to the beach, and I can just kind of do little things on it that would make it that much better. So wish us luck on the maiden voyage. Should be a interesting moment coming up. Thanks.